these attacks on ESG come within the larger context of this broad attack by the right on any and all guardrails on corporate conduct. So it's part of this campaign, long, well-funded strategy to pack the courts with judges that are unfriendly to regulations, and and the recent Supreme Court decisions from the summer bear that out. So it's part of this broad attack on regulatory guardrails on companies. And shareholders, as Laura pointed out, we had been getting higher and higher votes on all of these resolutions, particularly because of support from the biggest U.S. asset managers going into 2022. And then that's when these attacks really ramped up. And to Laura's point, which is spot on, that the big asset managers have fled basically out of political fear, out of fear of threats of subpoena investigation for antitrust violations, which have no legal basis whatsoever, and but raise fear for investors. And so that's been one of the most problematic impacts, is that we're losing the battle a little bit, because the support for these issues, climate, DEI, worker rights, other issues on corporate ballots, the proxy voting support is falling off. And it's really, really important for us to mobilize there. There's a lot of groups that have mobilized to push back. Part of it, as Pedro pointed out, is the narrative. And part of that narrative is this is not just about investment strategy. This is about corporate accountability. And unfortunately, climate has been politicized, and DEI has been politicized. The need to hold corporations accountable for their practices cuts across red and blue. People, red and blue, care about how companies treat their workers. They care about whether companies are polluting their local environments or how they operate in communities. And I think we need to find common ground around those areas. So that is an important part of shifting the narrative. And that last thing that I would say is that we also, the power comes in mobilizing asset owners. It's interesting that this fallback by the big asset managers and the impacts that has on corporate accountability come even though the vast majority of asset owner dollars are in favor of progress on climate, on DEI, on these other issues, and the asset owners who are sympathetic to those issues and are concerned about those issues haven't been mobilizing in a broad sort of coordinated way. So that's going to be really important. And I think, as we talk later in this panel about role that foundations can play, is a really, really important piece, that it's really critical for the asset owners that are clients of these asset managers to really push back forcefully on this narrative.